Hey, my name is Beto, and let's talk about the Kettlebell Juggling World Games. I hope you're good. I know that I've been away from YouTube a long time. I'm gonna be trying to get this kind of bloggy videos. So I'm gonna be going through a topic, but while I'm training, explaining some stuff, and it's gonna be like way easier for me to do it because I don't have to edit a lot. Just I have to cut and that's it. I'd really like to do like really good and funny videos, but it takes so much time and I cannot afford that. So today, I know that a lot of you, or if you're watching my videos for the first time, you don't know what juggling is all about. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the history of juggling, the competition scene, while I warm up and also while I juggle as well. So let's get to it. My wife is making me a favor. Went back to the apartment and to get my shoes, my steel cap shoes. And I have two pairs, one on the other car and the other one was in the apartment. So here I am waiting for her. And what else? Okay, quick message. I'm gonna be uploading videos both in English and Spanish, and they're going to be having subtitles. So don't worry, I got you, okay? I was recording this same video last Saturday when the microphone failed me. And yeah, I started to do rope flow also last Saturday. I just went on Friday to get a really cheap rope because I didn't know if I was going to like this in the first place. So spending $50 to $100 on a rope and I also have to wait a few weeks, it wasn't an option for me. I'm doing this because I've been training really light with a kettlebell. I've been training juggling really light because my body needed to restore itself because I trained so freaking hard with 16, 20, and a couple of times with 24 even, that I just need to decompress and also need my fingertips to recover. So yeah, juggling, kettlebell juggling is actually part of the Russian national sport. And right now, as for kettlebell sport, which is Russia's national sport, it consists on three disciplines. You got long cycle, which is clean and jerk. You have also the biathlon, which is jerk and snatch. And you got kettlebell juggling. And yeah, I started to juggle like without any kind of knowledge. And around 2020, on October 2020. So there's two, let's say, styles of juggling. You got the classic and you got the freestyle. Classic juggling is what they do in Russia, okay? Juggling has been around for a couple of years. I would say like even more than 100 years. Officially, like the Russians have their own rules and everything planned out. It's basically like gymnastics, let's say. You need to perform 30 elements, non-repeating elements, and the judges are going to start with your score, and they're going to be deducting from your score if you make mistakes. For example, like you're only allowed to turn, when you're turning, 90 degree, you can move your pivot foot once. So every 90 degrees, you're allowed to move your pivot once. Also, they have to make sure that you are doing the trick or the element. Formal term is element. If you are performing the correct element, if the number of flips that you wrote down in your program is the same number of flips that you're performing, that kind of stuff. So it's really structured. And you got the freestyle, which was created a couple of years ago, I would say in America, because we can attribute that to Colin Daring from Brooklyn, New York. And he started like doing the most amount of crazy stuff back then, like, I don't know, I would say like 4 years ago. And from there, a lot of people start doing other stuff, including me. And as a collective, that's a pretty amazing stuff about this. And so the freestyle started to grow a lot. So that said, I trained really hard from, I would say, July up to October for that competition, and my body was whack. As for any competitive sport, you need to train. You have to program yourself to do the programming in order for your competition. but it's tough. It takes a toll on your body, and that's completely normal, you know? So yeah, that's why right now I enter into the rope flow thing. I'm just starting. I just trying to be comfortable with this, and also because I think that this will help me a lot with my freestyle, and I will explain about the freestyle a little bit more in a couple of minutes. But yeah, because you need to, as the name implies, flow. There are a lot of tricks, there are a lot of stuff, technical stuff about this, but the best part for me is as a really cheap tool, and also you need to use it to work your, basically a lot of rotations, including your hips and your shoulders, to loosen up instead of like compressing your spine like you are always doing with conventional training. And with this, you need to move around. You got the freedom to move around a lot. Your wrists get a lot of motions. You're not binded to just like flex your wrist and grip really hard. You got a really loose grip. And that's what I need right now. So, the weights used on juggling. As for classic, men use 16 kilos and women use 8 kilos. It only goes down as for amateur athlete, they use 12 kilos, and the ladies use, depending on the competition, it can be 6 or it can be 8. So what changes between amateur and pro categories is the amount of points that you can do. So amateurs do 12 points, and the pro doesn't have any limit of points that you can do on a program. Because I've been like, for the past 4 years, I've been mostly juggling with 16, and I think that 16 is the worst, or maybe the dangerous of all weights, because 20, 24 can be heavy, so you have to stop because you're gassed out, like, man, I can't throw this. Your grip is like slipping and everything. And 12 is really easy, so you can get that moving for 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. If you come from kettlebell sport, it's gonna be easier for you because you are used to be moving the kettlebell at least for 10 minutes straight without dropping the bell. And because I'm using 12, it's gonna be easy for me. I can just like relax, get more loose. And also, I basically specialize on classic for the last 2 years. I have touched a few freestyle sessions here and there, but not more than maybe like twice a month. And in contrary with the 16 or 20, I've been juggling 3 to 4 times in a week with 16. And 20, I can be touching it for like twice a week, or at least once a week, and that's tough. So this is why I'm starting to do rope flow. I can move my hip around. I can just like be creative as well, because that's why I competed in every single event in the juggling games. People that do freestyle normally tend towards creativity, towards doing stuff that they like to do, and that's it. I also like to do that on classic, but it's different because you have a structure. You need to follow rules, and that's the thing about freestyle. You don't have to follow rules. So for example, you're going to see me demonstrate a few things. But for example, in classic juggling, the bell always has to be flipping at least once. And you can stop just on 2 kind of movements. It's called static. Overhead, the bottom of the bell is going against your hand, or it can be here on the forearm. So 2 ways of stopping the bell. If you stop on the floor, it's only when you're finishing your program, or if you give up, for example. And that doesn't apply to freestyle juggling, okay? In freestyle, you can do basically whatever you want. It doesn't apply any rules, okay? Oh, my shoes arrived. Thank you. Now I can start. So yeah, on freestyle, you don't have any rules. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. And as for the events on the And as for the events, I just caught up with the word CrossFit. I don't know why. I think it's because the juggling games and CrossFit games, that's why. But about the events on the juggling games, there are 5. 3 classical events and 2 freestyle events. As for classic, you have what I already described, the pro, which is 30 elements, non-repeating elements, and you don't have any time limit to perform the 30 elements. You got the same event, but with heavier weight, which is called power juggling. Man uses 20 if you are under 100 kilograms of body weight. If you're above, you need to use 24. As for women, right now they are just using 12 kilos. Okay, there are a few girls that want to use 16 in the power. Okay, and the other classical event is the half marathon, which is 30 minutes non-stop reverse flip. And for freestyle, you have the freestyle face-off, which is the second time we do that event on our World Games. It's basically like horse on skateboarding. You go against another opponent. You have the opportunity to do a combo or a combination of 3 elements. Your opponent has to copy your combo. If you fail performing your combo, you lose a life. If the opponent fails to repeat the combo, your opponent loses life. And there you go. Back and forth for 2 rounds. And the competitor that has the most amount of life after 2 rounds advances or wins. And the other event, which was the first time, there's only like 2 iterations of the World Games, but this year we had the battle. Last year was the best trick. It was cool, but it was the least favorite event of last year. So the freestyle battle was the most entertaining event. And as for crazy things, you can do whatever you want. My student from Brazil did the football trick that you put the ball underneath the t-shirt. Well, the opposite. So you can do whatever you want. It was really fun to watch. That was a favorite event for most people, and people enjoyed it so much. I also did. And because of that, because I was way for freestyle, and I was like so structured with the classical, I just hey, I need to get back to my roots because I started juggling doing freestyle. So I'm going to get to it right now. So now I'm setting the best possible shot with the trash can over there, right? So, perfect. We have flips, normal flips, the same flips that apply on the classic juggling. You have it on the, go. That you cannot do, for example, cleans or snatches. So that's the thing, that the things that you can do on freestyle, you cannot do it on classic, but you can do every single move from classic on freestyle. So you don't have any kind of limitations. You cannot do this on classic. It's not allowed. So that's why I'm just trying to get more creative and trying to get better at improvising stuff, because I always planned out what I'm going to do. Or maybe it's not like structure, but I like to do crazy stuff on the classic category. Because normally on classic, you're thinking about competition, like to be as competitive as possible. And that means points wise, and also not dropping the bell, because the bell, if you drop the bell, it gets really messy for you and your points, okay? So on the topic of the juggling scene, it's been growing a lot. Most of the growth of popularity of juggling, and I would say the west part of the world, comes from the freestyle, because I don't know how to call it. I don't know the word or the phrase, the proper phrase in English, but it's flashy and it looks cool. And that's why people like this kind of stuff, like tap flips and here flips from the rack, that kind of stuff. I know that the classic seems more like a classical dance because all the motions. But yeah, I've been like growing a lot in the past 3 years. And for example, like I think almost triple the amount of competitors from 2023 up to this year. Like I think it was a threefold, almost on both categories. What we really need right now is more women doing juggling and more women competing. We of course have a lot of, I think we had triple the amount of female this year than last year, so that's cool. And this maybe is gonna sound cheesy, okay, or pretentious, but for me, for example, last year games was a life-changing experience, and that's my opinion. But Lala, what's happening with you? Okay, and that's my opinion, but there was also the same opinion from other people, and also people that already competed in juggling for a couple of years, and also in kettlebell sport. And I was really into getting the games this year and as close as last year, because I was helping the organizers of the event a lot with a few stuff. Like I did my part. They did the heavy lifting, but I was like really thinking about that. Like I want them to feel the same thing, the same energy that I felt last year during the games and afterwards. And I think we accomplished that. We did that. Okay, it was really cool. So, and when I say life-changing experience, like this year, people start saying that the kind of energy, the vibe of the whole venue, competitors, spectators, like all the people involved, it was really cool. It's a thing that's really hard to describe. And I did a podcast last year with my mom, because my mom went with me last year, and I did it in Spanish. Unfortunately, for people that don't speak Spanish, you can find it on Spotify. It's about the World Games 2023. My account, okay, Por Aquí Va La Cosa. That's the name of my account on Spotify. You can find that. Also here on YouTube, on this channel, is about the games with my mom, and she enjoyed it so much. Basically, like she was part of everything. People love her. And this year, I've got the opportunity to go with my mom, my dad, and my wife, and they enjoyed everything, every single moment. Not only for the competitors, but also for spectators and like the volunteers and everyone. Okay, life-changing experience, and that's a cool thing. Like for example, like juggling for me, it has become like meditation. It has become like antidepressive, like a mood enhancer thing. I can be really down or really angry or whatever, but coming here doing this kind of stuff, also I can get frustrated when I'm not getting a trick, but at the end of the day, this is a weird thing, but it gives you so much energy, so much good vibes, that is really hard to put into words. And the only way to do that is to try it, and then to share with other people that also like this to do it. So I will greatly recommend to try juggle, of course with a proper kettlebell. Do not use a iron cast kettlebell. If that's the only thing you add, okay, no problem, but it's gonna be a tough time doing that. It's like trying, I don't know, like trying to do ice skating with no skates. So yeah, like getting around a bunch of like-minded people, and also weirdos, because this is weird. I know that it's weird. As for now, it's really weird. I don't blame people for seeing this as a weird stuff, as a weird activity. So yeah, I normally understand that. Oh, so I'm gonna be doing some freestyle today. I don't know if, as for video length, I'm going to be showing everything here, because I just wanted to start with my freaking blogs right now. Start the same way that I want to share my experiences. I want to share some tips. I want to share some juggling and any other information related to any other tool, like the flow rope that I'm using right now. I think I'm gonna go back to reverse. Okay. Oof. Ooh. Lost that. Okay, the most visible difference between freestyle and classic is that, for example, on freestyle I can do whatever I want, and I can call it a combo. For example, let's say I will do here, here, here. Okay, and this is a combo. But on classic, everything needs to go over the head in order to be considered a combo. It can't have a swing in between. So I need to have another meal, and then a flip, okay? So right there I did 4 elements. So the bell has to move always in a circular pattern, circular trajectory. On freestyle, you can do whatever you want. You can stop, you can tap, you can clean, you can snatch. But on classic, you always have to be moving in circular pattern. If you stop the bell, if you swing it, the combo ends. And combos are really important because combos give you extra points, okay? Between elements, okay, in a combo, you will get an extra point. That's why it's really important. Moving on. So I know that it's complicated and I don't want to ruin this video with too much information, okay? So I think I'm gonna wrap this video right here. The thing about juggling, it seems like really silly stuff, like yes, you are just throwing around a piece of metal and that's it. But the funny or interesting stuff is that this makes a lot of people or a bunch of people happy. And the energy that it brings to your life and the people that connects to this is amazing. And it has like no comparison with any other sport and activity that have been related in my whole life. That will be my wrap up from this video, and thank you very much. I know I've been away from YouTube a long time, so I'm trying to get back, but in a way that I can do it properly and sustainable. So see you in the next video. Bye.